Good evening, Lagos. Good evening, listeners. You're tuned into MindTalk on Wash FM 94.9, the space where we give voice to the silent struggles and shine light on the issues that society often pushes into the shadows. I'm your host, Olusegun Odufuwa, but right here I am known as Dr. Slicks. And today we are also having our very own Joseph Alonso right here in the studio. Good evening, Joseph.
Good evening, Lagos. Good evening, Nigeria. And good evening. It's only you that is using doctor. Maybe me, I'll be native doctor. So
you know, tomorrow is Ishashe Day. So you are spot on when you say native doctor. So traditional doctor.
Okay, traditional doctor. At least that one don't need too much. Just
and that will be very sweet too. You know, when you are Dr. Joseph Olorunso.
Traditional. Do you put traditional?
Nobody needs to know whether it's traditional or not. Good evening. So sorry, we're starting a little bit behind schedule because the traffic in Lagos can sometimes be very unpredictable. But right here, today we continue to dive deep into the conversation that touches the very core of our humanity. We're going to be having the part 2 of what we started last week, Stolen Innocence, Confronting the Scars of Female Child Molestation. And we're going to open the phone lines very quickly today because we just want our listeners to also join the conversation and join this real topic that we started last week. Last week we began peeling back the painful layers of this issue, hearing stories, insight, and the lingering scars carried by survivors. So tonight we want to go a little bit further, examining not just the hidden words, the wounds, but the path to healing, the role of family and community, and the urgent need for protection and justice for every child. So stay with us as we confront the silence, break the stigma, and work together to restore dignity where innocence was once stolen. Last week was very explosive.
Revealing.
Very, very revealing. And our 2 survivors who called in, really shed more light on what happened, their experience. And it was very touching for me. I was very emotional. But today we want to take it a little bit further, analyze all what they said, and look at these issues of molestation, particularly when it comes to the female child. How do we deal with it? How do we encourage those who have experienced it? How do we encourage them to heal up, also to speak up and end this silence, and at the end of the day be able to break the stigma? We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll dive deep into the conversation. Stay with us. You're welcome back to MindTalk on Wash FM 94.9. And today, like we said before we went on to the short break, we're talking about stolen innocence and confronting the scars of female child molestation. We're doing the part 2 of this conversation, which we started last week. And so we'd like to quickly open our studio lines for our listeners to join us on this conversation. You can call in 09060992609, 09060992609, or you can call 07041007949, 07041007949. So Joseph, we want to quickly dive into the conversation because we have a lot to cover when it comes to this very important discussion. Last week we had our 2 survivors, sharing their experiences, and it was very revealing. The first survivor talking about how she was molested by both the paternal uncle and the maternal uncle, and eventually, which started at the age of 8, and by 10, one of the uncles also molested and also raped her by the age of 12. And the other survivor talked about, in fact, the other survivor was really, really
it was pathetic.
Very pathetic, because she talked about how he started also from secondary school, I think primary school. I think he started from primary school, and how by a head teacher. And even when she reported the case to the mom went to the school. At the end of the day, the teacher was not sacked. He was still there, and that alone made the teacher even confront her and told her that, okay, I told you not to tell anybody, you still went ahead to tell anybody. Did anything happen? I'm still here. I'm still your head teacher. And he affected the girl, and she started, each time she faces any form of molestation, she just freezes, and at the end of the day, she's dumbfounded. She doesn't know what to do at that moment until after the molestation. And it went on further. The cousin, the refrigerator repairer, different people, and it kept on happening over time. And the sad part for the second survivor is the fact that she now started harming herself, which is very sad. Joseph.
But there's one common denominator or one factor that have been appearing even since we started the program. That factor has been like a constant factor, which is the parent. Because if you check, you know that a little negligence from the side of the parent, things will just give this gap to allow these people to take advantage. We show that everybody listening to us, you now know that if you are a parent or you are a potential parent, it's time for you to sit down and analyze whether if you can, you'll be able to create time, effort, surveillance to actually monitor your children or to make sure you protect the life of your children. It's not only the security agency that protect, the parent must do everything possible to protect the children. And protecting them, you must be one of their best friends, that you must be listening to them. That anything they can, no matter the threats, they should say, after they narrate the issue to you, they now say, but they tell me that if I tell you, I will die. They say, if I did, then you now know how to handle the whole situation. If you can look at the other lady, they said even the parent did not even, is it the mother of her, did not even believe on her way.
That's it. Because I like the angle you're taking from her, which is very good. Parent must be the first responder.
Yes.
The first responder. Because they are the first point of call. No matter what you do, whatever happens, you still go back to your family.
Yes.
So the family, your parents, your guardian, or your caregiver, whatever, must be the first responder. And they must listen, like you said, without blaming. They must protect without hesitation. And they must prioritize the child's well-being over family reputation.
Yes.
Because taking the story of the second survivor, who said that even when the cousin molested her, the father threw her out of the house.
Yes.
So it's more or less like you won't bring shame to this family, because they did not even, maybe at that point, because we didn't have enough time to talk to the second survivor. Maybe it's an issue of they didn't believe her, or they feel she was the one that probably made it happen. Because sometimes when things like this happen, particularly for the female child, parents might say, "Why? I've always warned you not to dress like this. I've always told you not to do this." So it's you are the one that allowed, because maybe they will assume that maybe her posture or her carriage or the way maybe her stature is what influenced the molestation. And so rather than take your child and be able to find a way to give her comfort, find a way to give her a bit of safe haven, you rather blame her and push her out. Because at the end of the day, if your child comes to tell you that this is happening, my cousin is doing this to me, and you send her out of the house.
Because for me, doctor, I ensure that the number of hours that I have a conversation with my children is always very, very. In fact, from this program, I have to increase it. You understand?
Because of what
I'm saying. Hey guys, okay, let's just go to the other place and go and buy something. We will talk from beginning as we are stepping out of the house. When we are there, they are different, and they will not be telling you something. Even sometimes they can even gossip something from mommy and daddy. Mommy said exactly. This and this, and you not know how to handle. So for me, every parent should be like an investigator. If you know you want to show, it's not a matter of you taking them to a mall, buy all different snacks. No. It's for you to be there for them, so that when they are hearing this story, when they hear the story from the news or other TV or read it from the book, say, they will go back and say, thank God my dad or my mom
usually talks to me about
there for me. So, because they can be asking, where were your mom when this thing is happening to you? I know there was, I think it was sometime this year, I visited my daughter in the school outside Lagos. There's a guy that was there. Everybody was begging him not to be crying. The boy was busy, and the parents sent gift. The boy was looking at those things as if they are not important.
It wasn't enough.
It would have been better for that open day or visiting day
to see
because the guy was seeing every even some
so
parents.
The presence mattered to him than the gift.
Not the gift. I said I was there when my daughter was even trying to. Some other children came and started begging him. He said, "But your parents were here, so you just give
presence is key.
Is key.
So, but it also takes. I mean, when you look at all of these issues, there are so many parents that are physically present, but mentally and
they are out emotionally, socially. They are very far. I do tell people
that they are physical be just there. Their mind is not there.
Not there.
And that's why you just see. If you go into maybe some parts in Lagos Island or some parts in probably where you have a more population in terms of maybe the
Ajegule and the rest of these places.
You go to some places and you see mothers seated, and their son or daughter is
very far.
Is like far away. It's only when something is about to happen they say, "Hey, mama, this," and you're like, "But you were here."
I was in this place near, I think near Ibadan Street somewhere, in Ebutemeta. Yes. In fact, they say it was a fight between court boys last month. They say one celebrity visited that very place and he dropped money for them to share. So that thing resulted to about 3 deaths.
Wow!
I'm talking of 3 last month somewhere in Ebutemeta. I saw one woman, he nearly go naked looking for the child. He said, I know this my child will follow them. And from information that I get from that, even his own child was like in a civilized situation, that boy they would have taken him in. The mother know that this boy is in a different is in an association that those people they are looking for him to. Like, okay, you are stubborn. And they sleep in the same house. They live in the same place. He's the one that cook for this guy to eat every day. We show that he is present physically with the child, but
there's no relation because at the end of there are some children that are bigger than their parents.
No, it is the parent that make them to be bigger than them. Because do you know that doctor? There's one thing that is till tomorrow. It is now value that being in the village. My father live upstairs.
Anytime you talk about village, I look say, why I know live for village, because I think there are lots of lessons you learn in the village, and that is helping you grow. Like that's helped your development up to today.
So my dad live upstairs while I live downstairs. If he want to have any conversation with us, he will come down from. He don't ask us to come to his own room. He will just say the man will leave his parlor and come down around 5 between that 1 hour. We just call everybody. Can we have a conversation? You understand it? Till tomorrow, that thing is still sinking in me. Will be telling us a lot of story, the consequence of if you do this.
But do you think the economic situation of today and the pressure of today can even allow you to do that with your children?
No, it becomes like a debt for my city. I do have that conversation with my children. Till tomorrow, I take my children to school
and do family meetings.
I make sure I take them back. So in the car, we'll be having conversation.
Discussion.
You understand? Because I feel that I'm indebted to do that. If my father was there, he didn't buy a car for me. It's not any like a physical gift, but emotionally, psychologically, that time he was there for me. So I don't know what I will not discuss. I don't know what I cannot discuss with him.
So very importantly, we've said that family is the first responder.
It's the first responder,
and I think so. From what you are also saying, from this example, also makes it look like back in the days. I'm an advocate of communal living. Because back in the days it used to be not just your parents alone, your parents and the community. Everybody playing their role to watch over one another. But these days, because of globalization, everybody just lives like you're on your own, do your thing, I'm doing my thing. Because when we talk about molestation when it's happening is either the molester, some people will know that this man or this lady, this is what she's doing.
Yes.
But everybody keeps quiet. And even the child that is being molested, sometimes one or two people might suspect that something is happening or something is fishy. But some people are too like, if I go tell him mama now, he go say, it be my business. You understand? So because the way it is now is more or less like, if I see your child doing something or something that, and I might be too scared to come and even tell you, Joseph, and say, if I go tell Joseph and say, no, go assume, say, you might start fighting me and say, leave my children alone, no, what's your business? And so, because of that kind of lifestyle, everybody now just minds their business. And minding your business is affecting the next door neighbor.
And it's affecting the society.
It's affecting society because if we all work together, if I watch over your kids, you watch over my kids. Before, in those days, there was no CCTV camera. Everybody was a watchdog. Both the gate man, the security man, the bricklayer, the carpenter on the street, the mama where they sell small, food stuff, provision store. Even everybody was a watchdog. And for everybody, they know that, this is so-so person's parent, this is so-so person's father, this is mother. So if you do anything, in fact, there was nothing like internet. So before you are coming from exactly, as you are coming from work, as you are entering the street, information don't reach you, say you're picking this one. So, but now that there's now technology that is even supposed to boost communal watchfulness in terms of everybody being a watchdog, is now even killing it because it's more or less like everybody mind your business.
Yeah, I think another thing that is equally contributing highly on this issue is issue of let's leave it in God's hands. People are shut down their way of the sense of reasoning. Oh, okay, this thing, let's pray over it. I know of a case, I think about 4 years ago, this child, a 9-year-old girl who was being molested by an uncle. And it is the girl that told the teacher, not knowing that the mother even know, but this guy is the person, he works in one oil company in Nigeria. So it's every month they are paying him salary, he's equally sending money to this girl's mother. So whatever that guy is doing to the daughter, he doesn't. She's finding it difficult to believe. So that matter was taken to Pedro police station. Do you know that one reverend father, that day I was still shocked. A reverend father was begging that his family can resolve this matter, and me and one guy who is now outside Nigeria were pushing that very key. You know what they do? This woman arranged with the wife and they relocate out of Lagos. And if you try that kind of thing in Lagos and the government know whether the parent is begging or not, you know that the Lagos Ministry of Justice, they make sure that the law take its course. So in order to escape that, they just relocate till tomorrow. They relocate out of Lagos with the child, with the mother, and that, we show that was I say that the parent has a lot of role to play.
You're still listening to MindTalk on Wash FM 94.9, your fun health radio station, and we are talking about breaking the silence, talking about stolen innocence, confronting the scars of female child molestation. You can join this conversation. Have you been molested before, whether you're female, whether you're male? Have you experienced any form of molestation, or maybe a story or two that you want to share with us so that our other listeners too can learn from such story? You can join this conversation by calling the studio line 09060992609, 09060992609, or 07041007949, 07041007949. We're just looking at the basic role of the family and community, and just like Joseph and I have been talking about it for the past few minutes, we've emphasized on families and parents basically being the first responder when it comes to supporting the child. You are the first responder even when it happens, which we don't pray it happens. If it happens at the end of the day, you must be able to listen to your child without blame, because whenever your child experiences anything, even whether the child is saying the right thing or the wrong thing, just give a listening ear. It is very important. From what you listen, you can begin to pick one or two things and know whether, okay, this child is actually being molested, or maybe the child is actually going through anything. Because when it comes to all of these things, it affects the child in a very drastic way, which we're going to look at that in a very short while. So family is the first responder, number one, and also we're talking about community watchfulness. That means everybody must be a watchdog. We must support one another. Yes, there's technology, there's CCTV camera, there are different ways of monitoring your child and all that, but you don't go put CCTV for your child bag, carry go school now. Yeah. Abi, your child will go to school, your child will go to parties, will go to church, will go to mosque, will go to different places. They will go to the market. You understand? But you need people around. You need the teachers can help you watch over your kids and tell you, oh, I noticed this about your daughter, I noticed this about your son. People in the market, people around you must be able to tell you things about your children. And when they tell you, don't just shut them up. Don't just tell them, mind your business. Okay, don't talk about my daughter or my son like that. Just listen. Even whether it's a good comment or a bad remark, just listen. And when you listen, then it is for you to deal with it. Whether you want to use that information or you want to discard it, then it is left to you. So
and if you have a children to equally have courage, I think that one I will give it to the Nigeria Police, the gender unit of Nigeria Police. If a child is able to have the courage, walk into any police station and request that you want to see people, officer in the gender unit. Many times they patiently listen to that child.
Yes.
And I can give it to them like, they take some action that will actually help the child or ensure that the parents actually do the right thing. But the question is, some of these guys in that department or that unit, they equally need help. Because, for example, a child walk into that police station and that child sending the child back home, you know that it's going to be very risky. And this officer did not have money to pay for an hotel. Or let me look for a way where, in fact, he's struggling to feed his own family. Before he knows, okay, let him now bring this child in first.
Yes.
And the police, the Nigeria police never have any shelter to say, okay, in case of anything, something like this, let's get a temporary place for this child, because it's become like a state matter. So just sometimes even some of the agencies that are supposed to help, the system is not helping them for them to be able to help that. If not, I would say the gender unit of Nigeria Police, they are trying very well, but they have
that's why we're doing this education and awareness for everybody to listen. As like what you said, I've never even thought of it that way too. So I think it's very important that even we have a police station, there should also be because we watch movies, international movies, and they talk about safe houses. So safe houses should not be for money keeping alone.
No. It should be
like
for
the safe house in
vulnerable people.
So safe houses should be provided, whereby if things like this happen, you can say, okay, and it's very, very key, because somebody who has been molested or who has experienced something very devastating, at that point in time, it affects the child's mental health or the individual mental health. And if you allow that person to just
go back to that place,
the person could commit suicide, could do anything, and it could result in self-harm or any other destructive behavior. So at that point in time, you want to put the person in a monitored environment. Probably, okay, madam, or okay, this man should be kept in this room, and you put him in a very conducive room, and there's monitoring. So you begin to watch that child over the night. Then the next day, okay, you can now say, okay, let's invite your parents, and you can take it off from there. So all these facilities need to be provided. I think
because tomorrow, tomorrow, I used to, when I enter and say our criminal justice system, is a noble one, but full of a lot of lapses. For example, now the same system know that they have a shelter for juvenile
delinquents, children.
You understand? Okay, any child that committed an infraction and it cannot be with the normal
up to 18.
Up to 18, let him be in the juvenile home.
Yes.
What of his survivor? You understand it? What of his survivor? So it's as if we are not holistic in the way we approach issue. I want just so we always issue punish. No, the survivor, the people that survive that. There are some people, there are some children that if you give the opportunity, they will say, I don't want to go and stay with my mother again. I don't want to go and stay with my parents again. Because they feel that the parent failed them. So the system we're supposed to have a way to cover that gap.
Yes.
Children like this, though you equally profile them very well.
Definitely.
Not that a child that will be stubborn in his home and say, because there is a shelter. For me, you profile them very well. Know that, these are the children, these are survivors actually need that help. So I pray one day those that are in charge of our policy will sit down and say, okay, now that we are tomorrow here or now, government want to build more prison. You understand? What of building an avenue to actually like behavioral modification?
Yes,
the time is coming, though prison become a factory.
Yes, and that's very key because looking at it, it's just providing a form of child protection system. In as much as we are, strengthening our law enforcement agencies in terms of policies and laws around cases like the child abuse, molestation, and all of that, delinquent behaviors and the likes. We must also, like you said, provide a child protection system whereby it's more or less like, providing a shelter for cases like that, which is very, very important. And not just even in the police stations too. Even in I think for me, I will also want to recommend that even in private, in tertiary institutions, because if it happens in a university or a polytechnic or any of the tertiary institution, because things like this can also happen, whereby once you have both genders, anything can happen.
Yes.
And a child is molested, maybe an undergraduate, year 1, year 2 is molested or something happens, they go to the school authorities to complain. What happens? That kind of child might not be able to go back to the hostel and say, I'm going back to my room to stay, because you are scared that, the guy who is molesting me is also inside this room. So that kind of child could be given protective custody and say, okay, stay in this apartment for the next 1 or 2 weeks while we investigate the matter and while we deal with the issue. So it's not just about having such protective custody or facility in the police station. I think in tertiary institutions, even sometimes working places. Yes.
Because for example, if you have a personnel who feel that maybe there are some other persons that are bullying the person, and you are investigating such matter, it's good for you to for now, I think you'll be resuming in so and so place.
Yes.
Depending on when we finish this investigation for 1 month or 2 months. But what used to happen is immediately they just ask you question, you go back to your office.
Yes.
And the person will be helpless.
Yeah, just like the first survivor, the second survivor told us last week. I said, yes, it happened to her by her class teacher. And she
the teacher was still there.
She reported the case. The mother came to school, had a back and forth. At the end of the day, the teacher was not sacked, the teacher was not removed, she was not removed from the class where the teacher was, headed. And the next thing is more or less like, I'm facing the same culprit.
Same person.
The molester is there.
Yes.
And what do you expect?
No, the person will not say.
He's emboldened. He's emboldened at the end of the day to say, okay, you've reported. What happened to me? Nothing. And such cases, it leads to a lot of things. And this is what I'm just going to touch them in very briefly, because, after listening to the male version of this conversation, and also the conversation we had last week, and I looked at all of these things, which leads to a lot of psychological trauma, in terms of, having post-traumatic stress, depression, anxiety, shame, guilt, because sometimes you begin to battle shame inside of you, like, this happened to me. What will people think of me? How people begin to perceive me? Is it that they see me as a loose girl, or maybe I'm the one, I'm just lying, and maybe I'm the one that have the problem, and all of those things begin to happen. But majorly, as with the battle between the emotional and psychological trauma, it leads to an issue of having identity and self-crisis, because at the end of the day, you begin to challenge your sense of self, begin to look at it, because once you have molestation issues, your sense of safety and value begins to get dwindled, and it's a problem because you begin to lose value in yourself. Your sense of self begins to be questioned, and once you begin to lose that value, you are not even motivated to do anything.
Yeah.
Because as a lady or as a man, once you lose your sense of value, it's a very big problem. And for you to survive it and overcome such a thing, anywhere you get to, you start having low self-esteem, having inferiority complex. You begin to get withdrawn. You begin to stay lonely. You are even scared of associating with the other gender because you're like, your sense of self-worth is gone. And these are very, very big issues. And at the end of the day, it leads to a bit of, silence and stigma, because at that point, you're scared to talk. Because people will be asking you, what's wrong with you? Why are you, staying alone? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? Why are you, withdrawn? You're not, associating as much as you used to do. You'll be silent because you can't even tell them, because you are scared that if I talk, they will stigmatize me and say, this happened to you. That girl, a bad girl, that boy, I don't mind that more. Did you hear what happened to him? You understand? And at the end of, in this part of the world, when such things happen to you, you are the one that people will start blaming if you are not careful.
I think another thing that we don't always take care of is, I was having a conversation with someone, I think it was this morning or yesterday, and he was telling me that there's a guy, or showing that guy that we are seeing there. He's from that tribe in Nigeria. He said if you just speak that language to him, if you are not careful, he can harm you. So in answer, we're just trying to find out what lead to this. He said, those are the people, my people. He said he was there when they killed his parents.
Wow.
That they were speaking his language when they were killing his parents. That if you are any person that is speaking that language,
he's just going to be violent.
You look at the person that in my presence, you kill my mother, you kill my father. So that coming to Lagos was like run from trouble. And that such an individual needs to interface with the psychology. We, to some extent, he need a lot of therapy.
Of course, a lot of therapy.
And if he did not, he feel that the system is not there for him. And if you are not careful, that person can become so. He may decide to say, okay, I want to shift the violence to the system.
Yeah, of course, because already he's already
disappointed.
He's feeling betrayed already. That if my people can do this to me, then what else?
And nobody is there to help. So that is the reason we say people should know the how do you call it, the potency of when you listen to someone. Your child want to talk to you. Hey, I'm busy. Don't you see that I'm just coming back from work, and you don't know what is going on in the mind of that child. You understand? Oh, daddy, can I want to exercise patience. People we know that you are tired. You have been in the traffic. You are in fact, you haven't seen the alert. But see, create time.
That now the alert they cause for alert pass. Now the alert because people are going through a lot, and once alert never entered, nobody wants to listen to anybody. Okay, so we'll take a short break right now. We'll be back after this short break. So you're still on to Mind Talk on Wash FM 94.9. Yeah, you're welcome back to Mind Talk on Wash FM 94.9. So we're going to just wrap up the show. We've been talking about a very interesting topic, talking about this stolen innocence, confronting the scars of female child molestation. So you can join us, join the phone line, call us 0906-099-2609, 07041007949. So Joseph, as we wind down the show, because we've talked about a lot of things, and I like the way we've conversed today, looking at the psychological side of it, looking at the role of parenting and the community, and also talking about even the society, talking about having a protective custody for survivors, which is very important. Also strengthening the law, to also be able to, bring justice for people who have been molested, one way or the other. All these are very key, important things. But as we wind down the show for today, I also want us to look at talking about the survivors themselves. How do they heal? What are your thoughts in when it comes to path to healing? Because if something has happened, we are grateful that at least from the guests we've had, both for the male and the female, they've already healed, and that's why they are able to come out to speak about it. But there are lots of people out there who are still nursing that wound, who are still hurting from what has happened. Some has happened 20 years ago, some 30 years ago, some 40 years ago, some 15 years ago. And up to today, they've not been able to tell their parents. And they're hurting inside of them. Just in a word or two, what do you think they can do?
I think for me, it's for every one of our people like me to only have that listening ear. Those
are you listening as a native doctor?
No.
Or
okay. No, those survivors that talk to you because they found out that you are willing, despite your busy schedule, you're able to create a time to listen to them.
Yes.
Some of those people that we say they don't want to talk, they are looking for this person I want to talk to. They need that therapy, but they want to find out that, with this person, it's situated by someone parent is not willing to listen to them. They now talk up because why they are not telling their parent, the parent are not. There's no time for them to even listen to them at all. And that's the reason sometimes the mother will be here. Maybe it is when the father or the mother, he or she is not in the grave. Now say, I did not tell my mom. Even my mother is asleep, my father is asleep. Yet I did not tell. We show that to someone say those parents, it's like they have failed. Because anything that your child cannot tell you, I don't know. It's just like what you cannot tell God.
Yes.
You understand? So parents should always be ready. Caregivers should always be ready to listen to some of every person that want to talk to you. You may never know the revelation that you are going. He's looking for help.
Yes.
But by the time you create a buffer that I don't want. Hey, I'm busy now. Then because you may not know the harm that you are actually doing.
I think I agree.
Parent to, if it is possible, policymakers should allow everyone, particularly the female individual, should be exposed to maybe what we call early childhood education, whereby you know children's psychology. There are some children, they are not going to voice out, they will not say anything, but you say a child that will come to you like this, he touch you like this, he go like this, whether he give you signals if maybe he want you to leave that place for him to tell you something.
Yes.
Maybe you don't want the mother to know.
But
that.
You don't understand.
But you don't understand. You understand? So parents the system should look for a way for people should know about child psychology.
Yes, very true.
Because it's a must. It's a must.
Yes.
The children must come. We pray for them.
Yes.
But equally pray that God should give you the wisdom.
Yes.
And knowledge to be able to manage their situation.
Yes, very true. So also, in addition to what you've said, I think for the survivors or for people who have experienced molestation, I think it's also very important for you to acknowledge that this has happened to you. Don't live in self-denial.
No.
Acknowledge it. And once you acknowledge it, ensure that your parent, like we've said, is your first responder. So ensure you speak to your parents, talk to somebody, or get somebody within the family or friend or somebody that you trust so much and you look up to as your probably somebody that you feel comfortable with, so that you create that safe space and you're able to share your experience. Because a problem shared, they already said, is half solved. At least once you say it, there's a burden that it lifts a bit of burden off you. And also if you need professional help, you need to seek therapy. Go for therapy is very important. And therapy is also a form of just expressing yourself, just talking about it.